Now, earlier you said something about fighting dinosaurs. Do we actually have dinosaurs that were preserved while they were fighting?
We have actually quite a few examples of dinosaurs that are either fighting or trying to hunt. And why fighting dinosaurs? So what we actually see are creatures who are fighting and they were forever buried, frozen in time in the flood sediments in that fighting pose. So one very famous example is what they will call the fighting dinosaurs of Mongolia. And so what we have here in the fossil record is two dinosaurs in three-dimensional form while they are fighting. And on the one side, on the left side, you're going to see a Protoceratops dinosaur. And in that fossil, it's actually biting its jaw. It has the arm of a velociraptor in its jaw. It's biting it. And the velociraptor on the right is fighting. Its claw on its feet seems to be buried in the neck of the dinosaur on the left. And while they're fighting, something happens so quickly that they're forever buried in that fighting pose, forever frozen in time. And when you look at something like that, that tells you this cannot be forming over millions of years. These are huge creatures buried, frozen in time because you have a watery catastrophe, buried in flood layers. And like I mentioned, this is actually found in inner Mongolia. This is what we would call the Gobi Desert today. Right? Not exactly where we would expect to see a small local flood burying small creatures. These are massive formations.
Wow. It's neat that we have all these different examples of rapid burial of dinosaurs. I've heard there's even examples of dinosaurs that were giving birth or dinosaurs that were in the process of eating something. Do you have any other examples you could share with us?
Yep, so not exactly dinosaurs giving birth, but we have marine reptiles. So huge marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs, we know that they actually give birth. And in one case, a fossil was so well preserved that not only was every bone in its correct place in the skeleton, but it was buried and fossilized while it was giving birth. You can see the baby coming out of it at the end. And again, the way to get huge creatures like that, you need to bury them frozen in time to get it frozen that way. And it's not just dinosaurs because we actually see that dinosaurs were actually hunting mammals. Mammals were hunting dinosaurs and things like that. They were all there at the same time. So in the fossil record, for example, we actually have a mammal that is known for eating dinosaurs. So you have this 1 meter long mammal, it's an extinct mammal, looks like a badger of sort. And we know from the fossil record that sometimes, like we say, what they eat, it's preserved. And in this mammal, in the stomach, we see the remnants of dinosaurs like the Psittacosaurus. And just, I think, 1 or 2 years ago, they found another specimen of this dinosaur. But this time around, it's not with the jaw or the remnants in the stomach. This time around, they caught this mammal actually attacking the full-size dinosaur, which is 3 times its size. And the reason we know that is that the fossil was preserved in that fighting state. And when you look at the fossil, you see that the mammal has one hand holding the jaw of the dinosaur. The back feet is actually intertwined with the dinosaur as if it's struggling. And the jaw is actually buried in the side. And as it was attacking this huge dinosaur, it got buried and frozen in time in flood sediments. Again, not millions of years, but rapid burial in flood sediments, what we would expect if there's a worldwide flood. And so when you look at all these dinosaur fossils, fighting dinosaurs, I think they all testify to what the Bible says about catastrophic worldwide flood.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, and I'm sure many of our audience would be interested in learning more about the subject. Earlier in the conversation, you mentioned this book that you co-authored with Dr. Jonathan Sarfati. Would you be interested in telling us more about it?
Yes, so as you mentioned, Dr. Sarfati and I wrote this book, and this is actually our most comprehensive book on dinosaurs, written for high school and above, but we make things easy to understand in there. And so all the things that you heard this morning, even the polystrate, eggs, and things like that, we mentioned that in this book with many more examples. I mean, have you ever wondered why doesn't the asteroid extinction theory work? There's one chapter in there. What do dinosaurs eat? How does that refute evolution? It's in there. What about feathered dinosaurs? The common question we get a lot. There's 2 chapters in there as well. And there are even some, I would say, humorous parts as well. So for example, one of the things that we cover in there, what is the largest dinosaur fossil poop that we have, or fossil droppings that we have? But it turns out it's this huge 20-pound dinosaur dropping, coprolite, from a T-Rex. And we also tell you that the guy who collects that, he has a whole collection of 7,000 droppings. And he names his favorite one. For example, there's one that has a really nice shape of the intestines.
Oh, lovely.
He names them. He calls that one Precious. So this is a fun book, but lots of interesting, I think, useful information in there. So if you want to find out a lot more, like some of the things that we mentioned in this talk, you'll find that in this book.
If you're interested in getting your own copy of Titans of the Earth, Sea, and Air, you can find a 25% discount link in the description. Well, thank you so much, Joel, for that insightful conversation. Really appreciated you coming on.
Thank you.